So I'm like half Robin Hood, half Bonnie and Clyde, which I guess would just be Clyde.
Okay, so Clyde and Hood.
This is Then You Ruined It, the podcast that will last until one of us makes it weird. Hope you have a short commute.
I don't pirate things just because it's scary and messy and I don't want to be caught. And also, once you go down that route, then you just pirate everything. And I don't know. I've been down that route. I don't currently go down it. No, I pay for everything.
I have worked myself in a web of lies where I feel totally okay with this because I do pay for 2 services. That should be enough. There should only be 2. We don't need 7. That is too many things to be paying every month for. Point number 2. I put between 2 and 8 hours of work into putting this podcast and all the little clips on there on the internet every week. I am trading a podcast for 1 episode of Rick and Morty a week. That's okay in my mind. I am putting entertainment in the world. I can consume entertainment from the world.
Okay, so that begs the question, is Rick and Morty the only show you watch? Or do you have like 12 other podcasts out there that you're exchanging on this apparently digital barter system so you can feel good about watching whatever the hell else you watch?
I have my own rules. I don't pirate anything from like a small creator. People who have Patreons and stuff like that. I could go out and get that stuff. I know there's ways to do it. I'm Robin Hood. I only steal from the rich. And I give to the poor sap. That is me. So I'm like, half Robin Hood, half Bonnie and Clyde, which I guess would just be Clyde.
Okay. So Robin Hood, Clyde and Hood.
Clyde and Hood. Clyde and Hood. Oh yeah, I like that. I'm Clyde and Hood. I feel better about this already. Everything gets easier when you have a cool nickname for it. So, and apparently this is all genetic because my son has, without any help from me, found ways to watch any sports broadcast he wants. Because blackout dates are anti-consumer and they hurt the sports and they only put money in the pockets of the big broadcasters. So he also is a little bit, I almost said antichrist, but it's anarchist. We're both a bunch of antichrists. No, we're digital anarchists. And it was just interesting to know that was a genetic thing that you could inherit.
I would disagree. I don't think that's a genetic thing. I think the through point, the thing that ties this together is the sports. Because like you said, sports is just, if you want to watch everything, you can't do it. Even if you own every service, you still are going to get blacked out on some things and you're not going to get to see these games. So you have to have some other way, whatever it is, legal or illegal, of seeing these things. And that's just the way it is for sports fans. So I think that's the catalyst. But then from there, I think it's easy to extrapolate to, well, then, I tried that for a movie and hey, I found this movie and also like 5 others that are like just came out that I can see. So I want to see those. Let's watch those. That'll be fine. And, before you know it, you have an entire library of stuff on your Plex server that's like, I never paid for any of this stuff. Why would I? You're a sucker if you do. My wife and I used to have a couple as friends. My wife worked with the wife of that pair, and her husband was huge pirate. Like all of his bandwidth, all their bandwidth at home was used to pirate stuff through the day. He got all the new movies, some video games, other stuff, songs, just everything. He was on the Pirate Bay all the time. So every weekend we would get together with him, and this is before either of us had children. We would just, what are we watching? Like what just came out in theaters? Oh, I got the sweet burned copy of Pirates of the Caribbean 4. Oh, sweet. Let's watch it. Get the popcorn. So that was just what we did. And he would, burn off copies for us if we wanted stuff. And that's like the end of every night that before we left their place was him going to his office or his den and saying like, all right, what do you want tonight? Like, well, the missus said she would like to see, and he would burn us off, like 3 or 4 copies of movies, and we'd take them home, and that was just how we lived. And I didn't ever do it myself. I did look into it, and again, like I said, it was just scary enough that's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that at my house. I'll let him do it, and he can just give me the copies, and they could break into my house and bust us all, but they're not going to. So I didn't think anything of it until, and this is so weird, I had an overnight for inventory when I worked at American Eagle, and my boss at the time was super New York guy, thick accent, and he wanted, I was playing, I think it was probably Coldplay is what it was, and I was playing a CD I had of it, and everybody's listening to it, and he was just like, hey man, can you give me a copy of that? I really like that CD. And I was just like, oh, I don't pirate stuff, so I'm not going to. And this is well before I knew this couple, so it wasn't necessarily like I hadn't encountered it, but I didn't pirate stuff myself at the time, but I'm not a super stand-up guy about it. Like, I don't know why I said this to him, but I did, and I was like, well, now that I said that, I kind of have to go with it. I just have to be this guy. So, and he was one, again, had that kind of like New York sensibility of like, I'm going to get in your face and talk about stuff all the time. And he kept coming back to me that night with every time he had a chance. Like, are you sure? Like, why do you do that? I'm just curious. Like, what? And I was like, I have all these BS reasons of why I didn't pirate things. And it's the artist code. I create a webcomic, so I stand with my fellow artists for Coldplay. I will never forget that because I just felt so dumb. The rest of the night I was like, why did you say that? Why don't you just he's your boss. He's going to think it's cool and you might like get an in somewhere with like, the position or something. I don't know.
No, I've chosen to stand with Chris Martin, me and him locked together on the protest lines against the wave of capitalism.
I will not burn you one copy. It's not like I'm burning like mass copies for the entire store or something. One dude, a copy of Coldplay. All right, Chris, are you ready? Lights will guide you home. That's right, Chris. Sing it to me. Tell me I'm right. So, I've had a journey with pirating, but never like done it myself. Besides in college using like Napster and BearShare and all that stuff. But
yeah.
All the people our age did that. That was literally
Exactly.
what you did. If you didn't get your music from that, you were the biggest weirdo. It's like, why are you going to Target and buying CDs?
I would schedule out 2 hours of time to write an essay, and I would spend 45 minutes on Napster downloading songs that I wanted to listen to while I wrote that essay.
I would, in my first year of college, I would have no internet connection because there was no Wi-Fi at the time. It was only Ethernet, and my roommate, there was the one hookup, so we had to like share it between our computers. Like, I need to plug in, so literally unplug your cord so I can get mine in there. And he would download music. He was I don't know if he actually DJ'd or what, but he was very into the rave scene, and he would download all the music that was like ever created and would set up downloads that would take him like 9 hours. And I'm like, dude, I gotta type this paper and I have to get online to like submit it. And he'd be like, oh yeah, no problem. And then of course be like, oh, you done? Are you done? Oh, yeah, I need to plug back in.
I got 4 more songs to download. It should only take about an hour and a half.
So all you had to do is watch that little meter and it would slow to a crawl. It's like, oh no, why is my 20-minute version of November Rain taking this long? Is this person like that? It says like it's being shared by like 20,000 people. Why'd it go down to 2? Why don't these 2 people don't want me to have November Rain?
My favorite pirating relating story. I had a boss who was super into pirating. He was like your friend. He was I'm going to rip everything and I'm going to back it up and I'm going to have copies of everything and I'll give it to anyone who wants to and I'll just make more. Which goes against my own personal code. I'm very take what you need. You don't over-harvest the land. You only stream it and you watch it and then you're done. You don't hang on to it. You don't need it. I'm very, what's her name? Marie Kondo? Whatever? About
Marie Kondo.
Yes, Marie Kondo.
Minimalist.
You don't need, I'm sure they are now too. You don't need to have a whole stack of everything. You just go get everything and watch it whenever you want. So, but he was one of those people and we were at work in his office and he was showing me his haul. He's like, check out all these things I got yesterday. This machine's here is backing this up. Everything's doing this. I've got these backing up to a Plex server at home. I'm sending these over to this guy in the company. And he's just going through all of it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, And then secretary knocks on his door frame and they're like, hey, Jake, there's some men here to see you. They're with the FBI. And she just walks away like it's the most normal thing. He turns to me, he closes his computer and he's like, if I am not back in 5 minutes, I want you to take this laptop, smash it over your knee and throw it in 2 separate, like, just get rid of it. I'm like, okay. And so I just sat there, like, waiting to see what happens. And he comes back in like 5 minutes. He's running like, it's okay. They're just doing a background check on someone who needs to work here. Talk to you later.
People like that deserve to have the fear of God put into them every once in a while, because otherwise you get too comfortable. You need the FBI to get called on you and some dudes in suits to show up. And also, he had the bug out plan. Like, he's like, break it over and put one part here, one part here. Use these wipes to clean everything up. And here's the story I wrote for you. Here's what you say. Like, I need to know you're dedicated to this.
This is the same boss who came to me once after another employee who was like his best friend left, and he's like, well, now that Mitch no longer works here, you're my closest friend here, so if me and my wife both die, you need to get into our house, go to this closet, and get this bag of sex toys and destroy it before anyone comes in. I'm like, that is not an appropriate thing to ask your employee to do. But I will do this for you because you're the best boss I've ever had.
I mean, yes, but obviously had some things going on that every time he gets spooked, he comes to you. All right, if anything happens, I need you to go to this address.
No, Jason, I think the world needs more 3 a.m. guys. People that you can call at 3 a.m. with any problem, and they are up, putting their pants on, and getting a shovel ready to bury the body. I will be your 3 a.m. guy.
Yeah, well, okay, thank you for that. Hopefully that's not going to be necessary. Also, you're 3 time zones away from me. That's not really going to help. I need 3 a.m. guy here in my neighborhood ready to go. But do you have his phone number? And could you someday, like, call this man and somehow convince him that you have a body that needs to be buried? And see if he, like, shows up with shovels in a bag and, like, all right, man, I never wanted to do this, but I'm ready. Let's do this.
No, this dude would be sure like, I've always wanted to do this. Let's go.
I've done this before. I know where to go.
This is a bucket list item. Help a friend bury a body. I've got so many spots picked out. Can we cut them up and use all of them? Because I don't know if I'll ever get to do this again.
It is good to have that one person, but between the pirating and then the sex toys, this guy sounds like a lot. Again, a good person to know, but also really bad person to know. Like somebody who's very easy to distance yourself from with, like, the wrong people do come calling. It's like, oh, no. He's my boss. I have never done anything with him personally outside the work in my life. Take him away.
I've never taken a CD from him. I've never been in his closet. I've never called him at 3 a.m. to go do a thing.
Yep. I don't know his sex toys are hidden in his closet, second shelf above the guns. I didn't say guns. Well, I need to. If anything happens, I need you to destroy the sex toys. It's like, what's up with the sex toys? Like, they're sex toys. We know what those are for.
You don't want your mom coming through mourning the loss of her child and with the kids there, and they're like, we're gonna go through and find all the memories. Oh, there's probably a bunch of pictures of the family in the closet in this box. Wah! Pandora's box of dildos everywhere.
I can think of few things that would soften the blow of a loved one than discovering their sex toys. I think that would add so much levity that it would be a welcome respite from the grief and pain we are going through. So yes, I think you should leave the sex toys. I think it's one of the 5 stages of grief. Acknowledge, denial,
anger,
dong. Yeah, that's a GGTK. Good guy to know.
You're all over the acronyms this evening.
That one's from a movie. Some guy describes himself like that. It's on his business card or something. GGTK. Good guy to know. So that would definitely be this guy. I described my boss, and he was nothing like that. Or I didn't know him outside work, so I didn't know one way or the other. But I don't think I've ever known a guy like that. That would be helpful. I don't know. I guess I could have asked my pirate buddy, but I feel like he would have been like, okay, man, I was kidding when I said that. I absolutely cannot bury a body. Have you seen these arms? Look at these. No, that's... Go get somebody else. I got kids now.
So you don't have someone you'd call to help bury a body?
No. Nobody comes to mind. Like if that push came to shove, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that... I mean, I can think of some people that I would, like, contact probably, but they'd be like, we would just puzzle over it for hours together. I don't know. Like, what do you Google something like that? What if you do incognito? They can't tell what that is, right?
Should I call Steve and podcast about this?
I did that already. You did what?
Oh, it's okay. The episode won't be out for a couple weeks.
Yeah. No. I'll tell him not to edit it, and then I forget. It's like, damn it, I knew I forgot to do something. You made cute little animations about it and everything. Oh, somebody's knocking on the door. Hang on.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, burn my sex toys.
Burn all the dildos. Yeah.
Now that's a t-shirt.
Get yourself a boss that can tell you that. If we're ever involved in any terrible accidents, burn all the dildos. It's like, yes, sir.